Hey everybody, it's RJ. I know it's been a while. I've been slacking and doing other things and just been really busy. But I wanted to follow up on, or not follow up, but I wanted to do a car chronicle on a show that I watch. But more importantly, on someone that is one of the main people on the show. So I'm sure that everyone has heard of Catfish, right? Catfish is a show that's on MTV, and it's basically about so catfish, which from what I found out like last year, catfish is an actual term. So they actually adopted that word in the Webster dictionary, or maybe the Merriam dictionary. But anyways, catfish is actually a term that is used in the dictionary, legit. So you can look it up and everything. Pretty much what it means is that when you're catfish, quote unquote, that means that someone has, someone is pretending to be someone else in some form or fashion, whether, by using someone else's pictures or by using someone else's names, or by pretending to have, completely different life than who they are. Most times when you're catfished, the person doesn't, they never really want to meet you face to face. They don't want to like video chat with you. They may send you pictures, but more than likely these pictures are of someone totally different from the person that's actually, in communication with you. But anyways, so Neve Schulman and Max Joseph are the two main people that lead the show. And Max not only is like a founder of the show along with Neve, but he's also a cameraman. So he's got, more than one trick up his sleeve. And he also has made a debut in Where Are Your Friends with Zac Efron. So he's done a little bit of something, and he's the older one. He's a little bit older, a couple years older than Neve. So I have to just give a disclaimer really quick that I have a crush on Max. I do. He's got that salt and pepper hair, and he graduated from Brown University. He's hella smart. He's very handsome. It appears that he's a little bit of a freak, which I like. And just, straight to the point, like Neve tries to be, on camera, Neve tries to be the one that's, super sweet and, real low key, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, where Max is just like, straight to the point. So I was watching an episode, I was like kind of not binging, but like was watching a few episodes that I hadn't seen in the last couple of weeks, because like I said, I've been like super busy, just had a lot going on. I celebrated my birthday. I turned 41. Yes. So me and my boo, we went on, took a trip and for a few days, celebrated both our birthdays. So I've been off the chain, like busy, and then work has been crazy. We got a lot going on. So I just haven't had the chance to like check in on a lot of different things. So Catfish is a show that I ran up on last year, when I thought that I was being catfished. And not last year, but I'm sorry. Last year is not when I thought I was being catfished, but a couple years back, I thought I was being catfished. I wasn't. But the show, I kind of ran into the show last year because someone suggested that I watch it. So I watched it, and I like it. It's more of like, to me, like a documentary almost, because it's like real life. But it's still a show, so it is areas of it that are like planned and, filmed and cut and all of that. So it's not like it's live. But anyways, I really like the show. I like Neve and Max both. Unfortunately, I recently ran across some disturbing allegations about Neve Schulman. So Neve and Max, neither one of them, both of them, they were single. Well, maybe not single, but they were unmarried at the time that the show started. So the show has been on the air, gosh, I want to say maybe like, I know definitely 3 years, but maybe like 5 years. I can't give you an exact amount. Like I said, I just like, I just started watching it maybe like in the last 2 years. But they've been filming for some years. They've won awards and, you know, like all types of shit. So there are a lot of people out there, obviously, that have been catfished. Neve actually was initially catfished, which is kind of what started the whole documentary, which is what it started as was a documentary. He was actually catfished by this young lady who now he is friends with. But initially she had catfished him and turned out to be someone else. Now they're friends and whatever. But Neve and Max were both in relationships, but they weren't married. Then Max got married not too long after the show started, and then Neve, him and his longtime girlfriend, they had a baby, and then they got married, I think, last year. So now both Max and Neve are married. Sorry, ladies, but they're both married, if you don't already know that. But anyways, I digress. Okay, so this is the deal. I was watching, like I said, catching up to a couple of episodes of, you know, Catfish for the current season. And I was talking to one of my friend girls, and I was, you know, talking about the show, whatever. And I was like, you know, because we both think that they're both attractive, but I really like Max. Like I said, he's more my speed. He's older, a little bit older than Neve is. I mean, he's younger than me, you know, like I just turned 41. But he's still, it's just something about him, like that look, and he's kind of sneaky a little bit. And then he like that, you know, salt and pepper. And like I said, he's a little bit of a freak, I can tell. So I really just, I don't know, it's something about him. Neve is cute too, but Max is more my speed. So I was like, you know, let me Google. She and I were like, because we do that sometimes, we'll Google people or whatever. And I was like, I know he's still married. I haven't heard him mention his wife. Neve had his wife on the show with him like a couple of episodes back. Actually, that was the last episode that I had watched. And I was like behind a couple episodes, and that's what I was kind of watching this weekend. But Max was off doing something else, because sometimes they do that. They'll leave and then they'll have like a guest host. And so anyways, Neve was hosting and Max was out. So Neve had his wife. So, you know, they're married and everything. But Max has never had his wife on the show for whatever reason. But I've only seen her like once or twice over the years. So anyways, we were Googling him, and because my homegirl likes Neve, and I was like, girl, whatever, Max is much, and whatever. So I was like, okay, let's look him up, let's check him out. So I go to Google him, and bam, this link comes up about the show being frozen. Production stopped filming because Neve Showman has been accused of their like sexual misconduct allegations. And I was like, pump the brakes on that. What now? Neve was accused of sexual misconduct. What the fuck are they talking about? So, you know, I start getting in my research mode. I start looking up things. Obviously, I have really been out of the loop, because it appears that there was this sexual misconduct allegation came out back in, I want to say like May of this year. And I guess I hadn't really paid attention to it. Like, I didn't even know. And I mean, I was watching episodes, even though I usually do it on demand. Like, I don't watch the show like when it's aired. I watch it like after the fact. But I mean, this happened a few months ago. Like, it's recent. So I'm like, oh shit. Like, I didn't know that was going on. So it turns out a young lady whom I've seen all their episodes. So when I saw her picture, I knew exactly. Well, when I saw her video, which I'll get into, I didn't know who she was, because she's either gained a little weight. I mean, she still looks fine, but I mean, her face is really full. Or she's had some work done to herself. I can't really tell, or maybe both. But I couldn't tell that it was her, because when she was on the show, she was thinner. Her face was thinner. She's kind of tall, so, you know, I was like, okay, and she's tatted up. So I really thought she was someone else that I had seen on the show, but it turns out I was wrong. Anyways, she appeared in an episode in 2015, one of their episodes in 2015. And apparently on the show, she had been catfished by this chick. She's a lesbian. So she had been catfished by this chick. And so they were trying to, you know, pretty much find out who the chick was. Anyways, so that was what was the episode that she was on, and more GAN. Ayissa, if you want to look her up. So she was on the show, like I said, and sexual assault. I mean, there's rape, there's statutory rape. So there's all different types of levels of, inappropriate behavior that fall under that umbrella. But they call this sexual misconduct because, and I'll break it down, but apparently there was no actual sexual intercourse or oral sex of any sort. So there was no sexual like penetration or anything. It was like maybe it was mostly like behavior, like inappropriate comments and inappropriate hand gestures and body language, things like that, but not actual any type of, like I said, penetration or oral or anal or anything like that. So anyways, apparently, long story short, she is alleging excuse me, that Neve was making very lewd comments to her because she's a lesbian, and he was offering his services as a heterosexual male to her, saying that she just needs to find the right man, and that there were things in her video, because she's made 3 YouTube videos, part 1, part 2, and then a response to, I guess, people that have responded to her allegations that are, I would say, are fans of Neve and Max, of the show, let's say. And there's a young lady that did a full breakdown on Ayisha's body language. I mean, real talk. You should, look it up. It's on YouTube. So she did a breakdown after Ayissha put both videos out there, YouTube videos, telling the whole story. This young lady did a breakdown of her body language, of her hand gestures, of her facial expressions, of even like down to like words that she used. She did this whole breakdown. I was like, damn, woman has a degree in this. Young lady, like, she really doing a breakdown. But anyways, so in the YouTube videos, part 1 and part 2, she's talking about just Neve being inappropriate, her experiences on the show. She also delves into a situation that happened during the same time period where one of the female producers, who is also a lesbian, had allegedly sexually assaulted her, drugged her or got her drunk. She said she didn't want to say drugged because that would be an even stronger allegation, but she said that she was inebriated to the point where she was in and out of consciousness, and she didn't have control of her body and all that. So she was blacking in and out, and that while she was blacking in and out, she realized that this young lady, this female producer, was on top of her. She didn't use their real names in it, but we knew what it was. So she was calling like Neve Jack and calling Max John, and she called this female producer that allegedly sexually assaulted her Carol. But anyways, afterwards she claims that like the next day that the cast was the crew, like the cameraman and all the people, producers, stuff that worked with them, were making lewd comments about, oh, Carol got some ass last night. She usually does on these type of trips and all this stuff. So apparently she was saying that she was like the laughing stock. But the video, the allegations are on Neve, which is interesting. They're not on Carol, this character that she calls Carol. So I find that interesting, because I'm like, if you were sexually assaulted by someone rather than sexual misconduct, which both are bad, but I'm just saying one is going to carry a heavier term in terms of jail time and punishment over the other if found guilty. So I'm like, wouldn't you? So anyways, her allegations are against Neve, not against, she calls Neve Jack in the video, but not against this character Carol. So I don't know. But anyways, she pretty much gives this recount of how after her incident with Carol is when she had already had all these references made to her about her being a lesbian by, Neve, who she's calling Jack, that, he's got a big dick is what he said, allegedly, and that she just hadn't met the right man, and she should let him be her, because he had asked her if she'd ever been with a man, and she was like, no, and blah, 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 blah. So pretty much he was, like I said, offering his services as a heterosexual male to her in a sexual way, and that she felt uncomfortable, and she was depressed, and she felt like she was alone, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And after the alleged situation took place between her and this person she's calling Carol happened in Carol's room, she claims that she, like the next day or whatever, like Neve had approached her about it, and she was in Neve's room, like she was waiting on her room key from the producer that she was dealing with, and she didn't want to wait. Well, she was waiting around, and so Neve was like, yeah, you can wait with me while, actually, she said Neve, and Max were together, and Neve was like, yeah, you can wait with us, whatever, and it was them, it was the two of them. So she claims that she thought that they were going to be, all three of them were going to be going back to the room, and she felt comfortable going because initially when all this first transpired, when she first met them, she said everything was good, but then once Neve started kind of getting inappropriate, she said that Max, who she was calling John, was telling, Neve, like, yo, like, chill out, like, cut it out, like, that's enough or whatever. That's what she alleges. So it was almost like she's trying to say that Max can, confirm these allegations because when it first started, he was there. Anyways, let's fast forward. So, after the altercation with Carol, and she said, she was waiting on her room key from her producer to bring it to her, and Neve offered, Neve and Max were together, and Neve, she didn't say Max, she said Neve, or, Jack, offered that, you can come to the room and wait until you get, until they bring your key, So she went, whatever, to the room. But then before they got to the room, Max, who she was calling John, was like, oh, I'm out, I got something to do, So it was just going to be her and Neve. And they went back to the room, back to Neve's room, and because she was still waiting on her room key, and supposedly, allegedly, he approached her and was like, I heard about what happened between you and Carol, and tell me what happened, step by step, like, tell me all the details. And she was like acting like she didn't know, or she said, she was like, I don't know what happened, she was like, you don't know? He was like asking her, you don't know? And why don't you do to me what you did to Carol, or what Carol did to you? And she claims that he reached over at her and pulled, placed his hand on her arm and kind of directed her arm, I guess, to a certain part of his body. She said he did not hurt her, or first, he did not grab her, or he did not pull her arm. He just lightly put his hand on her arm to lead her hand to wherever he wanted to lead it. But before he could actually put it where I guess he was meaning to put it, she got up and was like, okay, I'm about to go, I'm just gonna wait outside for my key or whatever. Or at some point, I don't know if this was part 1 or part 2, but she had said something about, she was joking that maybe she should be his his other partner, like, to replace Max, not permanently, but like guest host is what she had said. And he was like, oh really, are you interested in that? And he was like, so what are you willing to do to get that spot? And she was like, nothing. And so then he was like, oh okay, never mind. So anyways, and I guess that's when it happened with him reaching over at her hand, whatever. And she said she jumped up and was like, okay, so I'm about to go, and I'm gonna wait outside my room for my key. And she left, and she just said that she was like overwhelmed. She had been depressed. This happened 3 years ago, and she had just been depressed, and with the Me Too movement going on, that she just felt like compelled to come out and say something, because she feels like there are other women out there that probably had the same situation with Neve and just hadn't said anything, or they were afraid. But what I found interesting, and I'm not taking sides either way, because I take that situation very seriously for multiple reasons, and I won't go into that, but the shit is real and it happens. But when I was looking through these other videos that came out after her videos. So her 2 videos came out, and then there were other people that were doing their YouTube videos like as a review of her videos. Pretty much one of them was straight up like throwing shade on her, criticizing her. The other one, not so much. I really liked her review because she was actually very unbiased, and she was just giving the facts. And there were things in Ayissha's video that I agreed with the young lady that did the second review, because they did seem a little suspicious or questionable. And there were things, you know, like pieces of the story that didn't add up. And she had said the same thing. And so I agree with the things that she was saying. And when you watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyways, so she did the review. She was very unbiased. You know, she never once said Ayissha was lying or anything like that. She didn't say that Max never did it. She just said that, you know, that some of the story just didn't add up. And, you know, she just felt like there needed to be, you know, proof, because Ayissha had mentioned in her video and her, I don't know if it was part 1 or part 2. I want to say part 1, that she had, yeah, I can't remember. It may have been going into part 2, that she had screenshots of some likes that Neve supposedly or allegedly did on her Instagram page, that he had went on there and liked a bunch of Instagram posts, and it was like the smiley face with heart eyes, smiling with the heart eyes, and that her friend supposedly had reached out to her asking who this, you know, like who was that was blowing up her Instagram page and blah blah blah. Anyway, so supposedly that's what she said to, you know, allegedly happened. And that she had taken screenshots of it, and she was like, something told me to take screenshots. She took screenshots, but she never presented those screenshots in either one of these YouTube videos. Not even the follow-up video. She never showed any of the screenshots. So that was something I felt was kind of concerning. And so the young lady that did the second review on her, like I said, I agreed with her the most. She said the same exact thing. So some of the things that I found to be a little odd about the video, she also pretty much verbatim felt the same thing that I felt. So it's just, you know, some of the things just didn't add up. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. Like I said, I would never say that because I wasn't there. And I can't speak on that. And like I said, it's a very, very sensitive topic. It's a very real topic. And it's, you know, it's legit something that is happening in our society. And it's unfortunate. And like I said, without me going into any specific detail, I'm just going to say that I take it very seriously. And I would hope that Ayissha is being truthful and honest, that she would not say those things if they weren't true, because that can ruin someone's career and someone's reputation. And I mean, that can turn into something criminal, like a criminal or civil case. And so, you know, you just have to be serious about it. And she actually did like a 5-minute like rant at the beginning of her part 1 video, and you'll see that, where she's like talking about it, where she's not doing this for the money and blah blah blah, she's well off, she's got money in the bank, da, da, da. You'll see it. That's like the disclaimer that she did right when she started part 1 video, so you'll see that. So that was also questionable. Like, you know, if you mention that, like, just like do it as a disclaimer real quick and be done with it, that'd be different. But it was like 5 minutes literally, so that's a bit much. But anyways, so she did the 2 videos, and then like I said, people were back and in comments and then making videos about her videos. And so then she came back and did a response video, and it's actually titled Response, and she like shut off the comments, and I didn't even know that, but she stated it in the video. And she was like crying in the video and da-da-da-da and all this stuff about how she understands that people don't believe her. It's hard to believe people, you know, a person you don't know versus someone you see on TV, you think you really know them well, da-da-da. So she's talking about that, and about how you can't believe everything on social media, and how social media has, you know, really warped our sense of understanding and how we believe in people and support people because of social media. She was just going off on a tangent, really. I mean, she lost me at the very end. Like the last 5 minutes of video, I pretty much was fast forwarding. It was just too much. And it was like of no substance in terms of what had been said previously. So I just wasn't into it. And so it's interesting because I found out that there was, I don't know how many or if it was just one, but there was at least one other young lady that had stepped forward who had alleged, you know, accusations, I mean, about Neve, saying that there was, you know, inappropriate behavior going on. I couldn't find anything else on him, and maybe I just need to look a little deeper, but I didn't dig a little deeper, but I didn't see anything on him. about this, about him, about other allegations about him or accusations about him. So I can't speak on those, but I just know that it was referenced that, because there was actually a third video that I watched. It sounded like computerized, the voice was, but it was a young lady's channel, and it only lasted like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's talking about their, about Ayisha's allegations and her video, and then it mentions that there was someone else that had previously, that had also, before Ayissha came out a couple months ago, there was someone else, there was at least one other person, I know she said, that had come out with allegations about Neve. So I didn't know that either. And here I am supporting the show and watching the show, and I like the show, but I'm like, damn, I didn't know Neve was getting down like that. And what's crazy is my girlfriend and I, when we were talking, my friend girl and I, we were talking this weekend about it, that I actually had told her, and it's so crazy. I've told y'all about how I get feelings about people and situations. I just know sometimes just things hit me. I didn't know anything about the allegations, like I said. And I was sitting up there talking about how, like, Neve, I was telling her how Neve has made like comments about some of the guests and even some of his co-hosts about how beautiful the girls were and because I remember when he had Karuchi on there, and there were like compliments about her, but it was nothing inappropriate. He didn't keep talking about it, he just said it and was done with it. And there were a couple of the ladies on the show. I know there was this one young lady, this was like when the show first started. She was a stripper, she was African American, and she had a nice shape, true to life. And Neve was like all up on her. Like, he was talking about this, that, and to third. And Max thought she was attractive too. And that's how the conversation came up with me and my girlfriend, because I was like, I think they both like women of color. I was like, it's always good to swirl it up a little bit. I'm all about people trying different things, whatever. And I was just saying that neither one of their wives are, well, Max's wife, I think, is Latin or mixed Latin. She's either Latin with white or she's all the way Latin, because I've seen her. So I know that she's of color, but Neve's wife is not. I think she may be like Italian or something. But anyways, I would just like, I know just from comments that have been made on the show, their body language, comments they've made when they're just the two of them together looking at emails and Instagram accounts, they both made comments about women being attractive. Nothing to me inappropriate, but just, talking as men as they do, because they gossip more than we do. And I was just saying that, like, how, he, like, Neve is really always like making comments even more than Max. And that, I like Max and this and that, and that he's a freak, and because he's made little comments, and he's a straight shooter, and I love that. And I go, and then we were talking about Googling them, because I was like, let's look them up, let's look at their ages and stuff like that, and look at their wives, just looking them up, how we do. And lo and behold, boom, that popped up on Google with the allegations of him being accused of sexual misconduct. And I was like, oh shit. And so that's how all that started. That's how we even ended up down that rabbit hole. And the thing about the other young lady, stepping up and saying that Neve had, there were some allegations, which I don't know those stories, so I can't speak on it. I never saw that. I haven't found that. I can look for it, but I haven't found it. And I was just really disturbed by that, because I'm like, wow, here it is. Like, I'm a firm, like, supporter in Neve and Max in the show. And I mean, yeah, like I said, I did notice that Neve was very vocal about women, like, complimenting or whatever. But, it's nothing wrong with a man complimenting a woman, what I'm saying? Or whatever you into, a man, whatever you into. But it's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not inappropriate with it. And I think that with this young lady, Ayissha, at first she said it was sweet. She was like, you can compliment me all you want. She's like, but then it became inappropriate, because it was like incessant, like all the time. And it was just inappropriate at that point. And then making other comments about her sexuality, her sexual orientation, that's something totally different. Now you're going in, now you're crossing the line. And that's what she said. That's when he started crossing the line. She felt really uncomfortable. Up to that point, she was okay with the compliments. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I just never saw anything where he went overboard, but apparently he has behind the scenes, and we didn't know it, or allegedly, because we weren't there. But I was shocked to hear that, but kind of not, because like I said, that's exactly what I was saying before we Googled them. was that, like, I know that Neve and Max, have made comments about the women's physiques and how attractive they are, and she's a pretty woman, and da 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 da, woo woo woo. But I was saying it that I had actually said this to my friend, that Neve was the one that was more vocal than Max with it. Like, Max tries to be cool with it, but Neve is outright, and then, like I said, like, Neve is younger than Max, so maybe he just his maturity level at the time. But anyways, so I found that to be interesting, that, he is being said to be inappropriate, and that they said that they had stopped production of the show, but now production is back on. And when Ayissha did her one of her videos, she had said, I guess the response, but she was saying that, investigation is not over with, because they haven't called my camp. Girl, bye. Like, all of a sudden she's like some superstar or whatever. Okay, anyways, that's the only shade I want to throw. But she had said that nobody has called her or her camp to ask questions or to confirm information or to investigate or whatever. And the station, MTV, and whomever else, production company, whoever else that's part of that, had stopped the production because they wanted to go through a full-fledged investigation. But she's saying that no one called her. So she, can't deny or confirm either way. But she says that them continuing production of the show has nothing to do with her and the case itself. It more so has to do with the fact that they need money and they need to get back in production, whatever, to get back on the air, but it has nothing to do with her. So I don't know if that's true or false, but that was her opinion. That was her feedback. So anyways, I am totally, like, flabbergasted about the whole situation. I'm totally shocked to that degree. You know what I'm saying? Even if I thought that he was a flirt, even if I thought he was, Neve was saying things, whatever, excuse me, I didn't believe that, I didn't know it would have gone that far. But I mean, like I said, these are allegations. I wasn't there. I can't speak on it. But, if it is false, shame on Ayissha for doing that. If it is true, shame on Neve. I mean, besides the fact that he has a wife and a child, and at the time he didn't have a wife, but he had a child, or, was about to, or long-term girlfriend at least. Dude, really? I mean, I know men do that, but really, that's just, come on now. And then, you already on, you on TV, so that women can come out and say anything at any point. You're not video, you don't have everything on camera, But anyways, what do you think? Make a comment. I know this is a long video. I didn't mean for it to be this long, but this is definitely a serious, a serious topic. And with the Me Too movement, it's just a lot going on. And, I just wanted to give my full strength on this, because I'm like, yo, this is some major shit. But I just wanted to, like, throw it out there. Please, leave a comment. Please like, or not. If you don't like it, then dislike it. Thumb down, thumb up, whatever your, whatever, fits your fancy. But at least let's start a dialogue. Let's talk about this. There's so much of this going on right now in 2018, and I foresee that more will occur. More things are coming out. And I just want to know what you think about Neve, specifically Neve Schulman, supposedly being inappropriate and sexual misconduct, dealing with Ayissha Morgan. So take a look at her videos, video 1 and 2, part 1 and part 2, and then she has one that's labeled response, and that's response to, like, I guess people that have responded to her and her allegations and just her opinions and all that. So take a look at it. Definitely respond back. I'm actually going to do a second chronicle for today, because I have another topic that I want to talk about. Okay, thanks for listening, and I hope y'all have a good evening. Until next time, bye.